I'm using this time really, really well for myself. I have been super busy, and what a great time for us as a community. And the only thing that I was challenged by was by the momentum that we have created over the last couple years. I mean, we just, as I said, we had an advanced event in Munich, and then right before that we were in Indian Wells, California, and we were doing all these scientific measurements. And oof, my goodness, I mean, we have so much data. We have so many amazing healings. My biggest concern, my biggest thing that affected me most was, God, I don't want to lose the momentum. I don't want this to cause separation and divide our community. We have to unify. So it's caused me to become super creative. I went down the hill on Easter Sunday yesterday morning at 11 o'clock, met the guy down there, and cut another children's meditation because parents are with their kids and their kids want to know what they're doing. So, and we're cutting all these other meditations. So it's caused me to be a little bit more in the creative state. And you can't tell a child at 3 years old or 4 years old that they create reality. That is not information that's consistent with what they need to know. What they do need to know, that they have to be able to learn how to control their emotional reactions. That you can teach your children that when they are reacting, that they actually can change it. You will teach them the greatest thing that they could learn their entire life, emotional intelligence. And so it's not important for us to rationalize or reason with our children when they're emotional, when they're reacting, because don't reason with me. Don't talk to me when I'm reacting. Leave me alone. Give me some time to get beyond those emotions. Because again, no information is going to enter their nervous system that isn't equal to the emotion they're experiencing. They're not going to hear you. It's not going to land for them. So allowing children to have their emotional reactions, but then getting in there with them, getting in bed with them, and laying down next to them and saying, hey, what a day today. I did really well till around 2 o'clock, and then I lost it. I got frustrated, I got angry, whatever it is. And you talk about yourself. You would be surprised what comes out of these little souls' mouths. I mean, you would be amazed when they start opening up and they start paying attention to their thoughts, to their behaviors, to their emotional states. And I used to do this with my kids all the time. I would open up to them and be vulnerable, and then they just had the opportunity to say, yeah, I got frustrated with so-and-so, and I got angry when we were playing. And I say, yeah, I know, I saw you. I saw you do that. And I'd say, I really, that doesn't matter to me anymore. What I want to know is that if you were in that same situation with your same friend, and it came up exactly the same way, I just want to know how you do it differently. That's all I want. That's all I care about. Let's talk about how we could evolve our experience. And normally, it's very limited. You know, they'll say, I would do this, and I'd say, really? Well, if you do that, then probably this is going to happen. Have you thought about that? No, I didn't think about that. Well, we got to think about when you do it, what effects it could produce. So the parent then becomes like the story, the narrator of the story, to build this best understanding of how to evolve your experience. And so between the parent and the child, you're building this model of how to behave. And as they're learning and they're listening, and it's nighttime and their brain waves are slowing down and they're very suggestible, you're taking them on this mental rehearsal process. And I would used to say to them all the time, so, okay, let me see if I got this right. So if this situation would happen, you would do this, and then you'd do this, and then what would you do? And then they would start, talking to me about it and repeating it back to me. Well, by them imagining what they're doing, by them rehearsing what they're going to do the next time, the research on rehearsal means you're taking the brain as a record of the past and you're priming it to the future. You're installing circuitry, the hardware. And so you're creating a mind. You're reminding them of what they can do, and firing and wiring those circuits is causing them to lay down the neural architecture to have something to do that they've planned. And if you keep doing it enough times, the hardware becomes software. It sort of becomes automatic. They start naturally behaving that way. So I would do that with them, and always just very, very loving and very simply help them to understand there was a greater way to be. And then I'd say, okay, you guys, it's story time. And then I would just tell a story. There are these two little boys, and they live in London. They got a weird dad, and they got a cool mom, and they live in this castle, though, a very different castle. And you tell the story of this little boy that has a friend or a brother, and instead of them reacting the way they always react, you tell the story with dragons and knights and whatever, and you take them on that allegory, and the allegory allows them to associate with a character. And storytelling has been such an important part of so many cultures. And you would be surprised just by laying down, rewriting that track, reprogramming a child. I have team leaders and I have staff who report this to me. Their children will actually, you will see them when their brother is tormenting them. You will see them when they're faced and impatient. You will see them pause for a moment and make the effort to no longer be affected. That, to me, how could you not love your kid for that effort? So you see him the next night and you say, hey, bro, God, I just want to say I watched you yesterday. I watched you today. You did so great. I saw you. Did you see me seeing you? Yeah. I'm so proud of you because you actually did that better than me sometimes. Wow, so are you happy with the way I did? Yeah, I just kind of, okay, well, good, but you still did better. So let's rehearse the next thing. And it becomes something that your kids actually look forward to doing. When you tell the story, they always say, wait a second, was that me? And, I used to say to my daughter, and she would shake her head, and that'd be her last thought before she went to sleep. So brain waves for children at 3 and 4 years old, they're in theta. They're just chilling out. It's totally suggestible. They're in a hypnotic state. You got to show them, not by what you say, change your attitude or tie your shoes. They're gonna model your behavior because of mirror neurons. You got to demonstrate to them what it looks like. You got to say, okay, the lioness who trains the cubs to hunt is saying, watch me hunt. And they activate the same circuits in their brain as if they're hunting. You want to prime their brain by demonstration. You want to prime their brain on how to let go of things. You got to prime their brain on how to give. You got to prime their brain on how to share. You got to prime their brain on how to listen. You have to listen. You have to prime their brain on how to be creative and explore and take chances and make mistakes and forgive themselves. These are all the important things that, maybe you and I weren't exposed to by our parents at that time. But wow, I mean, there's so many ways to influence our children by not only information, but by the demonstration of it. And I think that they're little souls. We got to get down there on their level. We got to meet them at that level. And they're here. They chose you and your wife as souls for a great experience. And you got to give them everything that you would want as a parent. And I think that because of mirror neurons, it's the fast track to enlightenment, parenthood, by being able to demonstrate everything we want our children to be.